So who here has Googled how to make money from property or how to become financially free via property? Now, I know I have in the past. I've Googled things like this, and now more than ever, people are looking for a way to either earn extra money from home or they're looking for a way to replace the income from the day job. Now, if you've Googled anything like this at all, then you're probably going to enjoy this free property training that I've put together for you today. So here we go. So just a few things before we do get started. This training that you're watching is only available for 5 days. If you try to access the training in 6 days' time, you won't get access. The link that you've got will not work. So now is the time to watch, or I will email you later today with a link so you can watch a replay. Grab a pen, paper, something you can write on and make some notes. Take photos of the slides most of all as well, just so you've got something to kind of relate back to, because you can scribble down a load of notes on a piece of paper, but it might not make sense in a few days' time. So yeah, if you take photos, that's absolutely fine with me. And most of all, use the content I'm going to share with you, because what I'm going to give you today is, and we'll go through it in a second, is the A to Z of property sourcing and a load of other things as well. So there's so much content. So, use the content, make the most of it. So hi, I'm Paul, and I probably should have put this slide at the beginning, to be quite honest. I don't know why I'm introducing myself now, a couple of slides in. But yeah, I'm Paul. I'm the founder of PSM Property Education, host of the Property Side Hustle podcast. And if you haven't listened to that, go check it out. It is everywhere on all the usual podcast platforms. I live in Warrington, which is in the northwest of the UK, smack bang in between Liverpool and Manchester. I live there with my wife, Claire, son, Adam, and daughter, Ashley, and I've got a dog called Poppy as well. Now, I've been involved in property since the early noughties when I became an accidental landlord. And by that, I mean, I had a property I used to live in. I then moved in with my wife, and instead of selling that property, I let it out to tenants. So I kind of became a landlord because of the situation I was in, landlord by proxy, I guess. So yeah, I kind of fell into property that way, but I'd always had an interest in property. Since then, I've been an investor. I've started my own estate agency, become a property sourcer and deal packager, a rent-to-rent operator, built up my own rent-to-rent portfolio. I've developed property, flipped property. I've done commercial to residential developments. You name it, I've pretty much done it over the last few years. And in 2017, I co-founded the UK's first ever property sourcing franchise, which we took from 0 to 50 plus offices all over the UK. But in early 2019, I decided to take a new path completely and make property education. I was going to say make property education great again then. I wanted to make property education affordable to the masses, to be quite honest, and just make sure that anybody could get involved without the need for these stupidly expensive training courses. And talking of, property courses and education, people that listen to my podcast will know. They will know that I cannot stand these property guru types. The way they dress everything up and wrap it up in this BS little parcel, and the way they use all sorts of unethical tactics to sell their overpriced courses and mentorships. Now, property is not about getting rich quick overnight, being a flash Harry on Facebook and believing, your own hype, like a lot of these property gurus do. Property for me is a real opportunity to learn some skills that, if done correctly, it can give you a very, very nice level of income. Yeah, of course it can. You can end up working for yourself, and yet you'll have more freedom and time. But these guru types just missell the opportunity for me massively. And I'm sick of seeing these idiot YouTube property gurus, banging on and on about these, about passive income and financial freedom, how to become financially free in a week. It's just ridiculous. It really is just ridiculous. It's insanity on another level. And it makes my skin crawl when I see people fall for this type of, nonsense, really. And I once had a guy call me a few years ago now, to be fair. He called me up and he said, Paul, I'm interested in your property training, but I've been watching some YouTube videos. Not mine, I hasten to add. I've been watching some YouTube videos and I've got a few questions. So I said, yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's have a chat. What's going on? So he said, right, I've got this question. I need to quit my job in the next 2 months. Why he needed to quit his job in the next 2 months, I don't know. But he needed to quit his job in the next 2 months and he wanted to be on 10K per month. Is it doable? That's what he said. I need to quit my job in 2 months and I want to be on 10K a month. Can I do that? And to say I was flabbergasted is he just doesn't even come close. I just had to have a good honest chat with him, and I explained, look, you need to stop watching these BS YouTube videos and about financial freedom. And I just gave him a dose of reality. Brought him back into the real world. And that is the issue with these property gurus, their marketing, their message. It sets people up for a fall. And it's usually going to cost them thousands of pounds before they even realise what's happened. And it's this reason, specifically, that I got involved in property education. I just wanted to offer something different than what was out there already. And so people have just got another route into property. So over the years, I've learned how to make money doing something that I love, something that makes me excited to go to work. And to be honest, I don't call it work. It doesn't feel like work to me because it's my passion. Property is my passion. I don't sit there on a Sunday night anymore with, the Sunday sulk, as my wife calls it. Where you're sitting there and you're thinking about work and, it's still the weekend, it's Sunday evening, but you start thinking about work and you start thinking, oh my God, I can't wait for the weekend again. And it's just nuts that people live like that. It really is. I've lived like that for years before I got into property and, really do not miss those days. It's crazy that we do that to ourselves. And over the years, being in property, I have learned what works, what doesn't work, and I've learned what the easiest path forward is as well. Because, a lot of it was trial and error for me when I started out. There were a lot of wrong turns and dead ends, but I've learned through those experiences what the quickest way forward is. And before COVID hit us and ruined everybody's plans and changed the world forever, I think, before COVID hit us, I used to love to travel. I regularly did this because I could, because property gave me that opportunity. I could travel. I didn't have to ask the boss for time off because I was the boss. I didn't worry about money because, I was able to afford to travel whenever I wanted. And, before property, I was lucky if I managed one summer holiday a year. And for me, property really did change my life in that respect. And it sounds really naff, but before I was able to travel and not worry about money so much, I worked a normal job, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday on a basic wage, and I lived payday to payday. I had very little, if any, savings, and I had to scrimp and save to try and afford a holiday each year. So, me and my wife could take the kids away. Some years we managed it. Some years we just didn't quite manage it. And ultimately, what I'm trying to get across is, we all started out from somewhere. And to get to somewhere else and live a different type of life than the one you've got now, it's just a process. I know that because I've done it. It's just a process, and it's one you can manufacture for yourself if you want it enough. And you're willing to take the necessary action, because that's what it takes. People do it every single day. People decide enough's enough and they start making different choices, making different decisions. and making different choices about what you're doing day to day, it can lead to a different result for you, and ultimately a better way of living, a better way of life. Einstein once said, the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. If you keep on doing what you're doing, you're always going to have the same results. So does this sound like you? Are you looking to start a side hustle that can eventually lead you to you quitting the day job? You're fed up of working for somebody else and you want to be in control of your own future? Do you want the freedom to work when you want to work and not be chained to your desk 9 to 5? I know that feeling. Do you want more money, more time, and quality time with your family and loved ones? Or are you watching this and you just want to add more income streams to your existing income and you're looking at maybe property to do that? If any of these points resonate with you, then you're definitely 100% in the right place on this property training. I will give you a good enough understanding that you can actually get started after watching this training. Just from watching this free training, you can actually start taking steps and moving forward. And these people, this is Kushal, these people felt like you once. This is Kushal. I joined us at the end of last summer, so I'm talking 2020. The end of 2020. And Kushal explained to me he wanted to quit his day job. He was a scientist, believe it or not. And what a cool job that is. What do you do for a living? I'm a scientist. How amazing is that? But his other passion in life was property, even though he had no real experience in property. And Kushal just, to be quite honest, when we jumped on a phone call, because he had some questions he'd come across us online, and he felt let down by other property training that he'd paid out for in the past. And he was a bit skeptical about joining up, just because he paid out money and he kind of felt let down and he didn't want the same thing to happen again, obviously. Now, within days, we had a good chat, meeting Kushal on the phone, and within days, he joined us and he was using our daily support, and he had his first Zoom call booked in so we could come up with his master plan for what he wanted to achieve. And with that plan finally locked in place, Kushal then got to work, taking action and focusing on his tasks and his strategy. But after a few weeks, he was starting to feel his strategy didn't really suit his goals or lifestyle, and he was starting to question whether it was the right strategy for him. So we discussed it in detail. We jumped on another Zoom call, and we came up with the master plan version 2. Because do you know what? Sometimes you do just have to pivot and change the route that you're on. Nobody just has this easy seeming, route to the top kind of thing in property. You do kind of switch it up. You change strategy. You move things around. You find out what you like. Things do change. That's life. So fast forward a couple of months, and Kushal was involved in his first ever project with a JV partner. And that was the kind of strategy we kind of focused on then. And it was, Kushal wanted to do a property conversion, do a flip, and he wanted to do that. He had some money to invest himself, but not quite enough to invest in a bigger deal. And to be fair to Kushal, he wanted to do a bigger deal straight from the get-go. So he found a JV partner that allowed him to do that. And he's converting a property into a HMO, and that's just about to come to completion. And he's about to pull all his money back out of that deal, which is fantastic. Now, that photo there, that's Kushal and his wife with the keys there. That's project number 2 that they've bought themselves, and they're converting that one. They're doing the same thing, copy and paste, as he says, just copy and paste. And he's converting that property into a HMO, and he's going to pull money out of that one. And he's already talking to me. I had a call with him the other day, actually. I had a call with him the other day, and he said, right, I'm thinking project 3. It was like, whoa, where's project 2 up to? But that's what he's like. He's moving forward at a rate of knots. And at the end of 2020, just a few short months since joining us, he told me he was going to go full time in property, and concentrate on that project number 2 and project number 3. So, Kushal is started off in probably the same position as a lot of you guys listening to this and watching this. He wanted to quit his day job. Well, he's done that in a matter of months since joining us. And because of Kushal's journey, I thought it might inspire some of the people in our inner circle, our PSM members group on Facebook. And so I wrote a blog about his kind of story that we just kind of glazed over there, and put it out there for people. And you can see Kushal's comments there. Thanks to Paul. He's always helping me out with my questions, strategy and planning, which helps me move ahead in my property journey with confidence. And that is what we do in a nutshell. We take people from one place and we help them along step by step, helping them all the way to where they want to be. So here's what you'll learn today. Enough for me waffling on. So let's crack on with it. So what you're going to learn is how to change lanes from what you've got right now in terms of your life, what's your structure, your job, your income sources. We're going to show you how to change lanes from what you have now to a future with more time, more income, and more control over your life. We'll show you how to earn money from property using a proven method, and how to scale up and create multiple income streams as well. We'll also give you the step-by-step blueprint on how to do this. No gimmicks, no time wasted, just the full process. I'm literally going to give you the A to Z. I'm not going to leave anything out, so stay tuned. So to get your business set up, we're going to have to jump through some hoops. So let's start here on the left. So we've got register your business. So you're going to have to register your business on the HMRC website as either a limited company or as a sole trader. Now, the most common one is as a limited company, but you can look at the pros and cons. There's lots of information actually on the HMRC website if you're not sure. And then we've got some startup admin tasks that you need to take care of. Once your business is registered, you'll then want to go and seek out a business bank account. And you'll need to do it in this order. You can't sort a business bank account before you've registered your business. So register your business, then sort your business bank account, and some admin tasks, get your business email address sorted out and maybe get a business logo designed and set up. And you can do some other things as well around basic admin. Now, the legal obligations in bold there in the middle, these are the ones that I really want to draw your attention to. So you need to register for AML. AML stands for Anti-Money Laundering. You do this through the HMRC website, and as a property sourcer, you do need to register for that if you are sourcing deals and you're going to trade those deals onto a third party, for example, a property investor. Basically, if you're sourcing for anybody else but yourself, you need to be registered with HMRC for AML. So you need to go on and get that done. Then we've got register with the property ombudsman. You have to do this. It's not an option. These things are not optional. Register with the property ombudsman. Now you've got two options, either the TPO or the PRS. Now, TPO is the property ombudsman and PRS stands for property redress scheme. So we actually advise that you sign up with the TPO, and it's just a case of going on their website and signing up and registering yourself on there and paying the fee. Next on the list, we've got register with the ICO. Now that's just data protection. Again, it's just a simple exercise of popping onto the website and registering your business details on there. Then we've got professional indemnity. Yes, you will need some insurances as you do with most businesses, in fact. So you're going to need professional indemnity. That is a must. And you may need public liability. That's why I've got little asterisks there next to that. You may need public liability depending on how you operate your business. And the bottom one there, again, that's another one that you may or may not need, client money protection. Now that comes into play if you are holding funds that do not belong to you, such as reservation deposits and things like that. If you are going to be operating in that way, you do need client money protection. So that's they're the ones in bold there under legal obligations. They're the ones you really want to focus on in terms of getting compliant and getting set up. Now, under learn processes, obviously, we've got get educated on process. Now, by that, I mean get educated on all the property processes involved in sourcing and deal packaging. The one underneath there, business processes, and we've got AML in brackets. Now, by that, I mean your legal obligations are to sign up and register for AML, but that's not where it stops. You don't just merely sign up and register on the website and forget about it. It's not that kind of thing. You need to understand how to onboard investors and carry out anti-money laundering checks on investors to basically work out if the money that they're using for a property purchase is coming from a reputable source, and just to make sure that money is not being laundered. So yeah, business process is something you need to be aware of. And then last but not least, obviously business startup, you're going to create a plan. You're going to create a plan for the next 30 days, set some goals and targets, create an initial, long-term goals, and then create a plan for the next 30 days. Because what a lot of people do is they set up a big goal and it's so far away in the distance, they can't really relate to it. And yeah, it's like it's 2 or 3 years away. I'm going to be at that point in 2 or 3 years. Yeah, but how are you going to get there? How are you going to get there? So the best thing to do is to kind of reverse engineer those bigger goals into smaller KPIs, like monthly KPIs, if you like, and create a plan for the next 30 days, and then the next 30 days, and the next 30 days. And the plan for the next 30 days basically consists of the smaller tasks that are going to drive you towards your bigger goals and targets. Goes without saying there, take consistent action and stay accountable to yourself. So before you start running around chasing investors or looking for deals, looking at property, you've got to set yourself up properly and understand your legal obligations. So where to find the deals. So now we're getting into the nitty gritty. Let's focus on direct to vendor, because there are a couple of options that we'll talk about today, but direct to vendor. Okay. So direct to vendor, how do we go direct to vendor? How do you get the leads? Well, typically you're going to use letters or something similar, postcards, direct mail of some description to get those leads. But when you get those leads, let's say a lead comes in, somebody picks up the phone, gives you a call. How many properties has that person got to sell? Now the answer's there. It's probably one property. So one property per lead generated. So you need to really think about that. And as we go through this, you'll realize why. So like we say, how do you get the leads? Mostly through letters. So the cost is really important here. So the cost of each letter that you're going to send out. So let's say you've got a lot of properties that you want to target. You're going to have to factor in these costs. So you've got paper to write on, you've got the envelope, you've maybe got the land registry fee as well, because you want to get the details of the property owner, and that's going to cost you £3. Then you've got delivery as well, delivery charges. So the likely cost is around about £5 per letter on average. So £5 per letter is quite a lot. So let's look at the conversion rate. Well, if you were going to send out 200 letters, that's going to cost you £1,000 just to send out 200 letters. £1,000 cost. But is there any guarantee there? You know, will they call you? When are they going to call you? Will your letter be received well? You know, it depends what's going on in their day to day. That day they may well have had a property sale fall through, and your letter lands on the mat, and you think, it's perfect timing. Or maybe they've just had an offer on their property, and it's a strong offer, in which case your letter's probably going to end up in the bin. Or if they're not even interested in selling the property, then it's probably just going to end up in the bin. So are they motivated to sell? Well, that depends on who you're targeting. And like we say at the bottom there, will your letter end up in the bin? Now, there's a high probability, in all honesty, most of them will end up in the bin. And at £5 per letter, you just imagine that £5 being thrown into the bin. How many times is that going to happen? It's worth thinking about in that way. So in terms of time and money, is going direct to vendor in this way, is it the best use of your time? Is it going to take time to do that? You know, you don't control when they pick up the phone and call you. You know, you're not in control of that. Is it the best use of your time? Is it the best use of your money? Well, I'm not going to pass judgment on that. I think it's clear. And does it give you a worthwhile conversion rate? Now, 200 letters there may cost you £1,000. Let's say you get a few phone calls and people are interested in what you've got to say, and you might get one deal out of it, and that one deal may earn you £2,000, £3,000, £5,000. In which case, the £1,000 spend on advertising was worth it. But you've got to be pretty confident that you're going to get a deal when you're doing this. You've got to be pretty confident that you're going to get a deal that gets over the line. Okay, so now let's talk about using local agents. So why would you use a local agent is the question. Well, obviously, access to properties. They've got a lot of properties for sale. Now, on average, most agents have 60 plus properties for sale. If you look in your area at some of the bigger agents, then you know they're looking at 60, 70, 80 properties for sale at any one time. What do they have in abundance? Well, they have a lot of properties, but they also have everybody that has a property for sale with them is a motivated seller. They are wanting to sell their property. Now, a lot of people try and target motivated sellers. This is an easy way of targeting motivated sellers, is it not? Obviously, not all the stock will work. Not every single property they have on their books is going to be ideal as a buy-to-let, ideal as a flip, ideal as a HMO, as a rent-to-rent, or whatever it is. It's not going to be an ideal property. So I'd say on average, 5% of the stock will work in some way, shape or form. So then we move on to relationship and exclusivity. Now, you want to build a business relationship with them, don't you? You want to help them sell more property because they will earn more money faster and you will generate your fee more easily. And exclusivity will come. Exclusivity, what I mean by that is the agent will start picking up the phone to you when a vendor says, oh, I want to sell my property. Can you come around, take some photos? The agent goes out, takes some photos, and then they have to come back to the office and kind of collate the adverts and kind of, you know, create the advert and put it on online on the likes of Rightmove and Zooplas of this world. Before they do that, they will ring their hot list. Every agent has one. I used to be an agent. Every agent has a hot list, a go-to little black book of people who are interested and actively buying properties. And if it fits a certain criteria, they'll pick up the phone and they'll call those people. Now, you want to get on that list. You want to have that type of relationship with an agent where they're going to think, right, okay, we've got this property in, I know this might work for, and they're picking up the phone to yourself because you may have buyers for that property and they can get a quick sale before it's even gone on the market. That's the point where you want to get to in the future. And that's the point that you do. That's the whole point and basis of building a relationship with local agents, is to get to that point. And people say, you know, you can't source through agents. Yes, you can. I am proof of that. I used to be an agent and I've sourced via agents. I've sourced direct to vendor. I've done it both ways. I've done it every way you can think of, but massively sourcing through agents is the number one way. When you've got that type of relationship with an agent and they're giving you exclusivity and saying, well, this has just come in. You've got exclusivity. It's not on the market. It's off the market. You're getting off-market deals through your agent. That's where you want to be heading. So who benefits? Well, who benefits? The vendor gets a quicker sale. Big tick there. The agent gets their commission, keeps them happy. and motivated with that relationship we've just been talking about. The investor gets what they want because you've got them a great property, great investment, and you get your fee. So everybody wins in that situation, in that scenario. And business breeds business. The more deals that you do, the easier they will come. And I'm sure you can see that by just thinking about how the business relationship kind of works with agents and yourself. So moving on, local knowledge wins. So you might be thinking, well, why would an investor use a deal source or a deal packager and be interested in finding, properties that are just, they're there, they're on Rightmove, they're up with a local agent, they're up with an agent that they can go and find. Well, local knowledge does win, because an investor down in London or an investor in Hong Kong or an investor the other side of the country does not understand your local area like you do. They don't understand where to buy. They don't understand, more importantly, where to avoid buying. Buying anywhere is not an option. You can hear, you can listen to, property experts say this is a buy-to-let hotspot, that's a buy-to-let hotspot. And people can say, oh, Liverpool is a buy-to-let hotspot, but you wouldn't buy a property anywhere in Liverpool, would you? You would not buy a property anywhere in Liverpool. You would buy in certain areas only. And it's that local knowledge and tapping into that local knowledge that does win out. And that's why investors will pay, a deal sourcer to go and find them that property. They're tapping into that local knowledge. It's not just a case of, go and find me a property and that's it. There's a lot more to it than that. And obviously, as the deal packager, you've got your own local network. You've got those relationships with the agents that we've just been talking about. You've got the relationships with the builders. So if you've got an investor who wants to do a flip and they need a build team, you've got those contacts. You've got that local network that can help. So you're not just sourcing the property, you're then potentially managing a refurb as well. And that we'll get into that a bit later on about other ways you can earn money in property. From the investor's point of view, it's a hands-free and bespoke service. It saves them time and money. It really does. So, talking about time and money, just moving on to the last section there, you're going to get access to more potential deals by going through local agents. When you get one deal done, you've got exclusivity in that trust, like we said, and it breeds more business. The hardest thing in the world is getting that first deal over the line. Once you get the first one over the line, that honestly, they're like buses. The next one comes, the next one, it snowballs. It's the momentum. You've gone through the process once before, and it's just so much easier to go through that process again and again and again. And what I would say as a little tip in terms of agents, just before we move on, is target the smaller independent agents, because they are much, much more likely to be open to doing business with you. So moving on, how to earn money and scale up your deal sourcing business. So I want to look at the numbers and the science behind it, really, just to kind of give you a different kind of viewpoint on it. So how many investors do you need to generate a good income deal packaging? Now, a lot of people might think you need a huge list. You just don't need a huge list at all, trust me. I've been there and done that. And a few investors will keep you very busy if they're the right investors. So the answer is not as many as you might think. So one investor plus one deal sold equals £5,000 on average, let's say. We use £5,000 as the marker. But one investor plus one deal sold per month could equal 60,000 per year. Yet you're only working with one investor. Now, one investor buying one deal every single month is, they're few and far between. But, these people do exist. And the point is, you don't need a huge list of investors to earn a good income. As it says there at the bottom, it is about quality, not quantity. Attract the right investors and make life easy. And talking about making life easy and attracting the right investors, just want to share with you a little bit of a story. And this is my brother-in-law. So meet Rich. Rich is a deal sourcer, and I'm legally obliged and feel I need to say that I taught him everything he knows because I did. Rich is a deal sourcer, a deal packager, and he works mostly actually with overseas investors in Asia, which is, funnily enough, how I got started. He has a small group of investors, but this is, below here is what Rich does each month for his small group of investors. Now, obviously, they're overseas; they're not in the UK. So, Rich sources opportunities meeting their criteria. He knows what they're looking for, and he goes out and he's actively looking all the time, viewing properties, looking for the next deal. Now, these guys, it's a small group of investors. They buy, on average, at least one property each month in the UK. Now, sometimes it's more than that. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 properties in a month, and the next month they won't buy one. But on average, over the year, I'd say it averages out at 1 property a month. All these properties are refurbs or conversions along those lines. They all need work doing to them. And Rich project manages all the refurbs on the deals that he sources for this group of investors. His investors get weekly updates and progress reports on WhatsApp and all the rest of it, and videos pinged over and everything. So they're bang up to date with what's going on, so they feel connected to their investments in the UK. And Rich gets paid a fee for sourcing each deal. I think it's around £7,000 per deal on average. And he also charges a retainer to project manage the build team. It's pretty much the same build team on everything, I think, at the moment. So he charges £2,000 per month for that. So if he sells a deal every month, he's earning around 7k, and then he's earning an extra 2k just for project managing. And basically it's a retainer for him to carry on doing as he's doing. So, you know, he's on just shy of 10 grand just off one small group of investors. And this one small group of investors actively buying properties every month, it keeps Rich a very busy man. And this is actually quite a rare photo, Rich, to be fair, because most photos I have of Rich, he's actually asleep. Strangely. Yeah, he's a tired man. So it's about quality, not quantity, like I keep saying. And it really is about attracting the right investor. So when you think about the question again at the top that we said there, you know, how many investors do you need to generate a good income? The answer is you don't actually need a lot of investors. And I'm not saying, you know, you'll go out and find, you know, it's easy to go and find these investors like Rich has. This took Rich nearly 2 years to find these guys, you know, with not a lot going on in between him starting and finding these guys. But all that hard work's paid off. And now look at where he is. He's making up for lost time massively. And he's got a great source of income there. So in terms of investors and the science behind the numbers, how many investors do you need? Well, the answer is not a lot. You know, even if we scale that down, you know, because this is an extreme case, really. So even if we strip that right back and we say, okay, instead of one investor buying one deal and then disappearing off into the sunset and you never hear from them again, what you'll actually find is when you give an investor a good service, what they'll do is they will come back and they will buy multiple deals from you. So it's not a case of one investor, one deal, goodbye, on to the next investor. You will have that relationship with them and they will want to invest again and go again. So you will get more than one sale, one deal sold out of each investor, by and large across the board. It's just the way it happens. But the key, like I said, it's attracting the right investors. I just want to give you an idea of why people look at property sourcing and deal packaging as a way to get started in property. And I thought sharing this kind of roadmap here to where you can go would be really beneficial. And speaking personally, you know, I started out packaging deals for investors and it really did open up doors for me that were previously closed. And when you have really active investors like we've spoke about, your income can really build from there on. So let me talk you through this. Now, most people start outsourcing and trading deals due to these reasons. So they start out deal sourcing and packaging, to build a pot of money, to get a good understanding of investing themselves as well. And typically people who do start outsourcing, they want to invest in the future. They want to invest themselves further down the road. And the result of starting out in deal sourcing and packaging, the result is you're going to build income. You're going to build and generate income for yourself, which is no bad thing, and probably why you're here. Let's be honest. The other result is it's going to increase your knowledge about property investing. What makes a deal a deal? Why does this deal stack and that deal doesn't? How to analyze a deal, how to analyze an area. You're going to learn this knowledge that's going to put you in a better position to invest yourself, further down the road. And talking of that, investing yourself is going to lead to opening up other doors, like I mentioned, because it's going to enable you to build income and cash flow for yourself. Then by investing in property deals yourself, potentially with deal sourcing, you can replace your day job income. I don't know how much you earn in your day job, but you can easily replace that by deal sourcing and packaging when you get the investors on board and you start dropping deals. That's a given. I'm sure you can see that from the scenarios that we've given you already. And obviously, you've got options, haven't you? If you replace your day job income, let's face it, you've got options. Do you go full-time in property and go all in and start investing yourself and building your business that way? Or do you keep the day job and you just see property deal sourcing as just another source of income for yourself? But it's entirely up to you, obviously. Now, when you get to the point where you can invest yourself, it opens the doors to other strategies. So we've got a few strategies there, buy to let, flips, refurb and selling, HMO investing with, that's a big one for cash flow. You've got buy, refurb, refinance and rent as an option to recycle deposits and pull money out of deals and then go again and build a portfolio that way. You've got rent to rent, which, isn't ownership. It's more about controlling a property and generating an income. And then you've got the top end of things when you've got a lot of experience is jumping into maybe commercial to residential. These are your options. It's not necessarily where you need to go. It's just, these are your options. It's entirely up to you. I know people who've built deal sourcing businesses, packaging businesses, and they just work with a set few investors and do some project management, and that's enough for them. And they're not interested in doing anything else. And then I've worked with other people who've started out in deal sourcing and packaging deals, and then they've gone on to invest in flips themselves and buy to lets and kind of, jump from one strategy to another. But the point is, deal sourcing and packaging opens doors. Now, obviously, you look at potentially in the future building capital, and cash flow via investing properties. So you're either going to be building a lump sum like you do with deal sourcing and packaging, you're building up a lump sum of money over time, or you've got cash flow from things like buy to let. So yeah, there's lots of options. In terms of, further down the road, when you do get to the point of investing yourself, you're really thinking long term then, aren't you? Because you're thinking about building assets, you're thinking about holding assets for the long term. You're thinking about benefit from capital growth. If you buy property today, in 15, 20 years time, you can sell it for a huge amount of profit. You're thinking about your pension pot potentially. What does that look like? How are you going to, build that? And an early retirement plan is popular with a lot of people. A lot of people get into property because they want to retire earlier. So these are all things that you can start out with. That you can think about in the long term. But the point is, and I keep going back to it, deal sourcing and packaging is your way in. It's your way into the property world. You may not have the money to invest right now today, but deal sourcing and packaging as a business can give you that income and help you get your foot in the door. Now, this property here at the bottom, this was my first property that I traded. Believe it or not, and it took me about 12-ish weeks, I want to say, thinking back now. I also know is it took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take, and I learned a lot of lessons. And my fee for this one was £17,000. Now you might be thinking 17,000 for just trading on a property that looks like a standard property. It wasn't a standard deal. It was a title split. And I won't go into what a title split is or isn't right now, but it was a bit of a messy process, to say the least, for a first deal. And, you know, it nearly collapsed multiple times with the investors moving the goalposts and changing their mind over and over and over, and then coming up with inquiry questions with the solicitors. And then we were thinking, yeah, we're in the position to finally get this over the line. And then a load more questions would come through. It was a bit of a nightmare, to say the least. But when the fee hit the bank, I'll never forget that feeling. That feeling of, oh my God, I've got £17,000 in my bank account. Did that really just happen? And my wife actually didn't believe me. I was like, log in on the online banking, have a look. And she didn't believe it till she seen it sat there herself. And she was like, wow. You know, you don't believe it. That, in all honesty, you don't believe it. You know, people earning money from sourcing deals and packaging deals, and you think, oh yeah, it looks good in theory, but the reality when it hits, when you see that bank balance, is just insane. It's such a good feeling. But I want to give you a reality check rather than waffle on about the money and how great that was. So the reality check sounds amazing, obviously, but the reality was I learned so many lessons on this one. I learned how to deal with overseas investors, how to handle never-ending inquiries through solicitors, how to handle investors being cheeky and changing their offer midway through, which they did try. They actually tried to back out because they weren't happy with the condition of the front door, believe it or not. That was one thing that nearly made the deal fall over, which was absolutely nuts. You know, I learned basically that every problem has a solution. You know, I just had to find it. And whilst it was incredibly stressful for a number of weeks, you know, there were nights where I didn't sleep. There were nights where I was so stressed out, you know, thinking that it was all going to fall over. You know, when I spent money on this and I risked losing it, I actually put money out stupidly with solicitors for doing the title splits beforehand. And I could have lost, you know, quite a bit of money, but I didn't. It was silly, but it paid off, and I'll never do it again. Would I do a deal like this again? Well, no, I've just said it. Never. I would never do a deal like this again. I learned so much by going through that process, but it gave me the belief, and it gave me that understanding of, okay, drop the ball here quite a bit going through this. Made a mistake here, made a mistake there. Wouldn't do things the same way again. And you kind of do learn by your mistakes. It's the best way of learning. And I've learned a lot over the years of how to go about doing this, the easier way over the hard way. You know, I'm all for making life simple, believe me. And I didn't do that in this scenario, in this instance. But, you know, you learn from that and you move on. But I just thought I'd kind of share that with you because, you know, whilst it can look great on paper, you know, 12 weeks, I earned £17,000. Yeah, it's amazing. But, you know, the reality is there was a lot of negatives to that, a lot of stress, a lot of things that could have gone wrong. And, you know, in all honesty, on another day, it could have gone wrong and I would have been left out of pocket. But the point is, it was done. Deal done, £17,000 in the bank. And that was deal sourcing. That was my first deal. So I want to talk about the potential to scale this up. So scale your sourcing business. So the reality is, to earn that kind of income, what do you really need to happen? Well, to do 6 deals, you need to find 6 investors to work with. And that's going to give you approximately 30k income if we're basing it on 5k per deal is your fee. Now, to have a 6-figure business, all you need is 20 property investors to work with. So just let that sink in. All you need is 20 people to buy a deal from you in a year, and you've got 100k a year business. Now that's not fiction. That's reality. That's what it looks like. They're the numbers. That's the science. You know, what I would say is, just off the back of that, what I would say is that most sources out there, and you ask anybody, most sources out there will sit between doing 5 to 10 deals per year, because that gives them a lump sum of money that they can then do other things with. And we go back to that kind of roadmap. People get into sourcing and typically they get to a certain point, build up a pot of money, and then they jump into another strategy. So it's not like they're going to be sourcing forever, or, you know, it's entirely up to them. You can see it as, you know, I'm a sourcer, that's what I do. But like we said before, you know, it opens up doors to other things. And I think the average is, you know, people don't actually build a 100K a year business through sourcing. What they actually do is they build up so much income from sourcing, and then they start investing themselves, and they start doing projects, start doing flips, start building their own portfolio, and they've got their income from there. They've also got assets. But what other ways can you earn money? So we've got some others here, which we have touched upon already, actually. More income streams. So project management, obviously, if you've got an investor, you've sourced a deal, it needs a refurb, you've got an investor who's not local, they need you to kind of manage it. If you offer them project management, you know, you're going to get paid twice. You're going to get your sourcing fee for sourcing the property, then you're going to get paid a fee for project managing and overseeing the refurb process. So you can earn more than one fee on each deal. Referral fees. Referral fees are huge, you know, for generating business for others as well, and for yourself, you know, from solicitors, for agents, architects, builders, trades, and family and friends as well. You know, if somebody gives you the details of somebody who's looking to sell a property, you know, and it's not on the market, and you've got a direct to vendor deal, you can afford to chuck them 500 quid all day long if it leads to you doing a deal and business. So, you know, offering up a £500 referral fee for anything that turns into money for you is a surefire way of you know, gaining more business. And, you know, whilst it's not an income stream per se, it's a way of generating more income. It's just a little route into, you know, referral of business. Top tips. So offer investors a one-stop shop. We've talked about this before. Offer to find the properties, obviously source them, have local agents who can manage the tenants, builders who can refurb the property, solicitors who can handle the process if need be. If you create that kind of a scenario where you can literally provide your investor everything they need, from finding the property to getting it managed, to getting it tenanted, to getting the refurb done and any works done, to getting the solicitors to take care of it all. If you can provide all of that and kind of link that all together, then you're more of a sure bet for your investor who's considering using you. The bottom one there, be compliant and have your processes in place. Obviously, most sources out there, I'm going to say it, they're unprofessional and they've got no real process. So ultimately, they're going to lack credibility and they're going to struggle to scale. You know, if you've seen it, I'm sure you've seen it yourself. People trying to sell deals on Facebook. Now, don't get me wrong, it can be done. But where it goes wrong is where people think, oh, I found this deal. I found this deal and I've offered on it. I've offered on it through the agent. And guess what? Now the agent's on my case because they want my solicitor's details. They want me to buy the property, but I'm trying to source it onto somebody. They're amateurs. They're absolute amateurs because they've done it the wrong way round. They've gone out there and sourced a deal. Now they're scratching around trying to find a buyer on Facebook, and they're panicking. You know, it's crazy. A lot of sources out there do it the wrong way round, and they're unprofessional. They've got no real processes, and ultimately investors won't touch them with a barge pole because they lack credibility. Their deals probably don't stack up because they haven't been trained well enough. And yeah, it's known in the industry. You'll see it out there. People saying, you know, most deals that come through sources, they don't actually stack up. Well, that's because the person that they've been dealing with hasn't got a clue what they're doing. So this just shows you what can be achieved if you follow the process and take the required actions. So we've got a couple of posts here, and these were taken from our PSN Property Education Facebook group that's just for members. So the one I left here, don't know about you guys, but I want to say a massive thank you to Paul. This course has given me a next level game plan and all the help and information required. Due to this, I have successfully got my first deal this evening, a £3,000 sourcing fee and a £500 deposit, and a massive smile on my face. On to the next. And we've got another one here. It's a messenger conversation. We're talking about something else, but then I said, any of those deals hit the bank yet? Yeah, I've got £22,000 in the business account with another £2,500 to hit on Friday. You know, that's the reality of deal sourcing. And this one here, deal packaging and sourcing, completed it, mate. For all you who don't think it's working or haven't completed it yet, I suggest you sit down in a quiet room with no distractions and get it done. It's opened my mind to how to make sourcing work for me, and already my company has 3 deals going through, making me £10,000 due to complete in 5 weeks. I also now got a VA doing a data search for me, and I'm pushing into areas I never thought I would have 2 weeks ago. So a quick one from me: keep pushing and believe in your goals. And that's just, you know, people who do take action, who put, you know, our training into action and put it out there in the real world. These are the results. Thousands of pounds of income. That's life-changing. You know, this guy here, £22,000 in his business account, 2.5k to hit Friday. He's absolutely smashing it. You know, this is what can be done. So this is no doubt the moment you've been waiting for. You want the step-by-step blueprint. But first, I just want to share with you some useful websites and tools that can make running your own sourcing business so much easier. So there's a few here I just want to quickly run through. I'm not going to keep you too much longer, so don't worry. Home.co.uk, brilliant website. You can see the screenshot there below. You can get data on sold prices, averages, rental averages for different types of properties. So it's an amazing website, completely free to use. Propertydata.co.uk is just an amazing tool for data and has lots of tools that you can use to source property too. The property data is a must-have. If you are a property sourcer, deal packager, an investor, if you are investing in property and you want to do your analysis and due diligence, you need property data. End of story. Propertyinvestortoday.co.uk, great little website for daily property investing news to keep your finger on the pulse. What I will say is, what you'll notice is when you actually, if you go up onto that website and you sign up, and you'll get an email every day with a load of news stories, which is great. But what you'll notice is the rhetoric of the press, the property press. One day they'll say one thing, and the next day they'll say completely the opposite. So it's quite interesting, actually. So yeah, sign up for there. You know, it's a great way of keeping your finger on the pulse and getting that information. Property Log is a Google Chrome extension. Now, it's probably similar types of things available on Safari browsers if you're an Apple user. Now, Property Log, it shows you house price changes when you're searching on Rightmove, so you know how much a property has been reduced by and when as well. And it's a fantastic tool. So I just mentioned property data, but this is a screenshot below here of some of the filters that you can search by. You can actually search properties based on these filters. So imagine you've got an investor looking for a bargain flip that they can refurb and sell on at a profit. Well, with property data, you can narrow down that search and use the relevant filters. You know, you can search for deals now using this site, and you can get the data as well at your fingertips too. It's just an amazing tool, like I said. You know, why you wouldn't use this, I don't know. You know, it is an absolute no-brainer. It speeds up the process of sourcing and analysing the deals as well. It speeds that process up massively. Some of these filters are really, you know, creative, and I'm sure you can see how powerful using this could be for you and your business. You know, you can tenanted properties that are for sale with the tenants already in situ here. You know, that's really quite useful, because if you can sell a tenanted property with tenants in situ and there's no issues with the tenants, you you've got potentially a buy to let there for an investor that's cash flowing from day one. Cash buyers only. Properties marketed for cash buyers only. You know, high yielding properties with inside growth zones, so it's recognised growth zones within the UK. Properties that have been reduced, there's nearly 7,200 properties there that have been reduced by 15% or more since their first listing. Quick sale, unmodernised, ideal for your flips. You can even look at land and plots. Properties that have come back on the market, maybe more motivated to sell because of sales falling through. Properties have been slow to sell, HMO, planning grants. We could go on and on. It's just an amazing way of being able to source properties using these filters. Now let's move away from finding deals to the main focus. And the main focus is investors. So without investors, reality is you won't have a business. If you're a deal packager, you need investors. Now, this here is a super easy way and straightforward way to expand your network and connections with potential investors. You know what? I really do wonder why people overcomplicate things so much in property when the simple answers out there are often just a few clicks away. So this is LinkedIn. If you're not on LinkedIn, you need to get on LinkedIn because it's such an easy way to connect with certain people, certain demographics, and I'm talking about property investors. So let's assume you're on LinkedIn. So first up, visit LinkedIn and type in the search bar, which is this thing at the top where I've typed in property investor, and hit enter. Then you can select filters and add a location such as your nearest city or any city in the world, wherever you want to look. Then select go and it will search again and create another search. But it'll only search in the location that you've selected, that you've typed into the box. And the result is you're going to get property investors in that area. So this is property investors. I've searched property investors. I've searched specifically in London, and there are about 10,000 results with people that have marked themselves out as a property investor, as you can see. 10,000 people. 10,000 property investors right there, just by using a simple search on LinkedIn. Now, how many can you speak to, do you think? How many can you connect with in a day? How many can you connect with in a month? How many can you engage with and get a conversation going? Remember, finding 20 investors gives you a six-figure business, potentially. 6 investors and selling 6 deals, averaging out a 5k per deal, there's 30k. And there's 10,000 investors right there by doing a quick little search. That's how easy it is to find property investors. Now, there are so many other ways that you can come into contact with investors, online and offline. And I put together a bit of a list here, and I want to just run through a few of these in a bit more detail. So obviously you've got your property networking events. Obviously these are all online at the moment. At the time of recording this, we are in March 2021. But property networking events are a fantastic way of getting out there. Now, property networking events, where are they? How do you find them? You can visit a website called justdoproperty.co.uk and you can look up all the events on there. Most of them are advertised on there, or you can try websites like meetup.com. Or if you're a subscriber to the YPN magazine, the Your Property Network magazine, they have a lot of networking events on the back couple of pages of the magazine. Then we've got business networking events. So don't just focus in on property networking events, business networking events, your BNI, your local business networking where there's different types of business owners in that room. Depending on what type of an event it is, you can do really well because there'll be property investors at those events. Local chamber of commerce. Now, every area, every town, major town has a local chamber of commerce, and sometimes they do hold property-specific events, which can be an absolute goldmine of room full of hundreds of property investors You need to be at that event. You need to be aware of when these events take place, and get yourself there. Landlord meetings arranged by estate agents and letting agents. A lot of estate agents, if you get on their mailing list, and letting agents in particular, because letting agents specifically work with landlords, they do have these landlord meetings that they arrange from time to time. You know, like a Q&A, kind of like a it's just them kind of touching base really with their landlords. And yeah, sure, you can't go in there and start, nicking clients and stuff, but you just need to be friendly with the letting agents. Ask the letting agents, and the estate agents, when you're getting out there and networking and building relationships with agents, ask, do they do any landlord meetings? Do they arrange any landlord meetings? If they don't, offer to do one with them, where you can have 5 minutes and get up and speak about what you do to a room full of property investors and landlords. It's that easy. It's just about thinking outside the box. Next up, we've got dedicated website aimed at investors / landlords. Then we've got online adverts, targeted online adverts using Facebook or Google Ads, etc. If you don't know what you're doing with online adverts, then, it can be quite scary, but that's an option. Offered to pay referrals. We've touched on that one before. This is a huge one, and one not to be dismissed. Blogging about property investing in your area. So if you're a property deal sourcer and you're operating in Newcastle, then if you create like an online, if you start writing property blogs about Newcastle, about investing in Newcastle, said it before, who's going to be interested in that? Investors who want to invest in Newcastle, obviously. It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Blogging about property investing in your area will drive investors to you. Excuse me. Social media, obviously it's big. There's lots of property groups. You need to use your own profile correctly, and let people know what you do. Property expos, such as the Property Investors and Home Buyers Show, that takes place in London Excel twice a year, or it did pre-COVID. Hopefully we get back to normality soon. Property expos are full of investors, especially that one. Literally hundreds of thousands of investors will attend that event over 2 days. If you're not there, then you're missing out. And it's a great place to meet investors, or say you're going to be there, and really ramp it up. Say, look, in 2 months I'm going to be at this investor show. I'm a deal source, a deal package. I can help you invest. Happy to meet with you and have a coffee over the 2 days. Let me know. Book in a call. Booking a meeting, sorry. And the top tip, really, it's just going all in on one or two of these things. You don't have to do all of them by any stretch of the imagination. Just go all in and commit to one or two of these, and you will see results. Remember, you don't need hundreds of investors. All you need is a handful of active investors wanting to buy properties, and boom, you're in business. It's as simple as that. I thought this might be a good fit, actually, and it's worth me sharing with you right now while I've got your attention. I do host a property podcast called the Property Side Hustle Podcast, and we focus on different aspects of property, investing, and business. So if you're looking for a property-based podcast or another one to listen to, there's lots out there, you probably listened to some already. If you're looking for a property podcast that can give you an honest look at property without all the usual BS, then this one is for you. So check it out. You can find it anywhere. To be quite honest, we are pretty much everywhere. So property investors, how many could you find? Now, we have already mentioned how easy this is, and I just want to draw your attention to the numbers. So ignore that last column and focus on the investors column. How many could you find? The reality is, if you can find one investor, just one investor, you can find more. That's all there is to it. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. If you can find one, you can find 10. If you can find 10, you can find 100. The income from trading deals is directly linked to two things. One, the number of investors you can sign up and help. And two, how active those investors are. You know, how many deals do they want you to source and how often? You know, and you can just look at the income there from the investors. You know, if you can find one investor, you can make money. That's all there is to it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Where is the A to Z complete sourcing blueprint, which I promised you at the beginning? But I did say you'll have to watch till the very end, and I will send you the full process. And as a bonus, I will actually talk you through that entire process step by step as well. So I really hope you enjoyed this insight into deal sourcing and the potential opportunity. If you feel like it's for you, then I'm about to share something. This isn't the end. I'm about to share something with you that is completely unique in the UK. It's a complete game changer. Nobody else is doing this. So before I share that, I just want to say that if you're considering getting educated in property strategies in some way, shape or form, please, please, please don't fall into the trap of paying thousands of pounds for property courses or training. Many people spend thousands of pounds falling for these self-proclaimed property guru types, these YouTube property gurus. And, you know, I'm just a normal bloke who's had a very varied career in property, a lot of experience within property, and I want to help people get educated without them going broke paying silly money for courses. So if you're pumped up, excited to get started in property, then this, what I'm about to share with you, is definitely for you. So I'd like to share with you an opportunity that is completely unique in the UK in terms of property education and property mentorship. Now, the Property and Business Mastermind is in a world of its own. Nobody else offers this in the UK for any price whatsoever. So what you do get is access to 4 online property courses covering a lot of the popular strategies, creative property strategies out there that you can use. And it gives you access to a community as well of like-minded people to help you build wealth and income via property with our support. And what you're going to get is lifetime access to a mentor. There's no deadline on this. We're not working with you for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. We will work with you for as long as you need us to work with you. And you're going to get one-to-one video calls every single month for up to 1 hour. We can talk about absolutely anything you want, as long as it's to do with property and business, obviously. And you're going to get that time for us to really help you in your business each month, to help you push along and work towards your goals. And you also get, in addition to the monthly call, because obviously that's only once a month, is daily support. So you get access to daily support as well. And we'll dive into a bit more about what all that means in a few minutes. So the courses that you're going to get are the sourcing and deal packaging course, the assisted sales course, rent-to-rent course, and the commercial to residential course. Now, these 4 online courses include everything you need to master each strategy. They're very much step by step, and they're very comprehensive. And when I say comprehensive, I don't mean we just give you the knowledge. We also give you the contracts that you need, lots of associated resources, PDFs, downloads, deal calculators. Everything you need is included within these courses. Everything. There is nothing at all left out. So just off the back of that, this is the curriculum, if you like. This is what's included in the property sourcing course. So you can see there, module 1, we start off with the business setup and compliance side of things, because that's really important. You know, you need to be set up properly and legally so you can move forwards. And then we dive into the actual knowledge, you know, give you a brief overview of different strategies. And then we teach you how to find investors, how to speak to investors, how to onboard investors. We look at marketing, and we look at how you can push your business forwards. We show you the actual sourcing process from start to finish. We give you the contracts, show you how to use them. You get the deal calculators. We show how to analyze those deals, what makes a deal, what makes it viable, how to find off-market deals, because that is key, how to work with agents, and also joint ventures as well. And there's loads of stuff in there and bonuses about, we cover other things within the course that are not there. Lease options, buy, refurbish, refinance. There's a bit on HMOs, and we're always adding to this. So these courses are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the content is continually updated and refreshed, and you get access to all those updates as well, completely free, all included within the one fee. So the PSN property business mastermind, it's the only one in the UK that gives you lifetime access to support, and it's unique. It's completely unique, and it's the number one reason why people join us. We've had people join us that they don't join for the courses. In all honesty, they will join because they want the help, they want the support, they need somebody to just help them along, or somebody to answer their questions. And that is why they join. And you pay one fee and you get lifetime access, and nobody else offers that. Nobody in the UK offers that. So each month you'll be able to book a live one-to-one video call with myself to get help in your business where you need it. So we can talk about absolutely anything. And I don't come to the calls with any sort of idea of what we're going to talk about, because it's your time. It's your time to get the answers to the questions that you really need help with. You might be struggling with one particular thing, like analysing a deal, and we can share screens and I can talk you through it, and you can then move forwards after that call with confidence and also clarity as well. You'll have a clear mind then to move forwards, and you'll know exactly what to do. That is the point of the mentor side of things. We remove the confusion. We remove that feeling of you feeling overwhelmed, feeling stuck in the mud, feeling lost, unsure what to do next. We give you the what to do next. We remove all of that for you so you can move forwards. So this is what's wrong with most of the big property training courses out there in England at the moment, in the UK, and the big property gurus that you see on YouTube and social media. Gurus do sell the financial freedom dream. You pay thousands of pounds for very little support, in all honesty. The mentorship is usually set, it's usually for a set period of time, like 6 months or 12 months, and then you're on your own again, and you're out there on your own. And knowledge is part of it. Of course, knowledge is really important and vital, but you need support. We take on a lot of people that have done training with a lot of the big training companies in the UK. If you name a training company, or you're thinking of one right now, we have mentees that have most likely been and done their training already, and then they've come to us because they need that support. They need that somebody to go through, somebody to go to, somebody to, put their arm around them and say, no, you're doing the right thing, or actually, no, we need to sit down, we need to look at things. People need support, because knowledge only gets you so far. It's a part, it is a part of the puzzle or jigsaw, but the missing piece is always that, well, hang on a minute, I understand the process, but I've hit this brick wall, I don't know what to do, I've hit this problem, I'm not sure how to get around it, I've scratched around online trying to find the answers, and I'm still not sure. That's why people join us, because they get lifetime access to the support, and that's all there is to it. And I can tell a story without naming names of probably the biggest property educator in the UK. They charge over £20,000 for a 12-month mentorship, and they call it mentoring, but actually it's just group. It's in a group setting. You have to book a day off work, you have to attend their head office, you have to sit there around a table with 12 to 15 other people like you, and you may get 10, 15, 20 minutes during the whole day to actually get some answers to your specific questions. The rest of the time, you're sat there listening to everybody else's problems as they go around the table. Now, to charge £20,000 for what amounts to 15, 20 minutes of support a month there are no words. There are no words for that. And where we're different is the support is untapped. You know, there's no limit to it. Yes, you've got your one-to-one monthly call with us. You know, when we dive into absolutely anything you wish, we'll dive into it on that call, and you get a full hour. You know, a full hour to really work on your business and get that clarity. And a lot of people come on the calls initially and they've got a lot of questions, and they go away at the end of the call. All questions have been answered. They know what to do next, and off they go with confidence. But because they know if they get stuck again, or they wake up in 2 days' time and they've got more questions, they can reach out to me personally and get the answers to those questions again and move forwards again. So that's where we really differ in terms of just what's included. But the cost there, you know, 10,000 to 25,000 plus for what is effectively a really poor support package or mentorship package that the Property Gurus offer. You know, that's not what we do. And we don't charge those sums of money either. You'll be glad to know we do not charge anything like those sums of money. So with us, you get a damn sight more for a lot less cost. So let's talk about that cost. So the price now is £300 per month over 12 monthly payments. So we're not going to charge you 20k. You know, we want to make this affordable and manageable. So for the next 4 days only, you can join us and spread the cost over the next 12 months. And we're also going to include a 20% discount, because the price for this is $4,500. That's it. That includes absolutely everything you see there on the screen, the online courses, the free course updates forever, because we're continually updating the courses. It includes the monthly one-to-one video coaching call for an hour each month. It includes the daily support, which is access to my WhatsApp, my personal WhatsApp. It includes access to the VIP community. It includes access to discounted software, and you get discounted accountant services. And of course, the lifetime access to the mentoring and support as well. And there's lots of other bonuses as well, but you know, there's lots. You get the idea, you get the picture. So the price now for the next 4 days only is £300 per month. And that why we're saying 4 days is because 5 days from now the price will be £4,500, and there will be no payment plan available. So if you want all of these benefits and the help and the support and the mentoring to help you in your property business and on your investment journey, then you have the next 4 days to jump on this offer. And we think it's really competitively priced when you consider the 20k plus that people are paying for very little support. We are very, very, fairly priced. And this is a great discount as well for the next 4 days. So we also have a community. I mentioned it just there. We also have a community with our VIP WhatsApp group. So that's everybody that's on the mentorship program gets added to the VIP WhatsApp group. And a lot of business is done in there. This is a post from Stephen on Facebook, just talking about the mentorship and what he thinks. And he actually says there at the end, when he was considering joining the program, I was certain there would be a catch. How could he afford to offer so much value at such a low price? But a few years later, I can say there isn't a catch. And that's Stephen's experience. He's been with us for a while. He's an investor who lives overseas, and this is Alex. So when we talk about community, these are two members of the community, Stephen and Alex there on the right. And they've done a joint venture together. As part of our community, they've done a joint venture together and worked together, and both generated a nice little fee. And they did a 50-50 profit share on the project, and both earned around £37,000 each. Now, this project was Alex's first project, and it actually led to Alex, because he generated 37k, it actually led to Alex quitting his day job. So he quit his day job and went full-time in property just off the back of one project done with somebody else in our community, in the PSN VIP community. So that shows you the value, really, of being in the right place, being it there at the right time, making these connections within the community and doing business together. It really, really works. It's so powerful. And we'll talk a little bit more about Alex and what he does in a moment. In fact, just the other day I had a chat with Alex, and he's secured a deal with £100,000 profit. So he's gone from zero to having multiple projects and investors, and he's now well on his way to hitting his goals and going from strength to strength. And it's amazing to play a small part in that happening for somebody, to go from day job to 37k profit to all of a sudden the next project's 100k profit, and he's moving forwards with his property business and getting support every step of the way. It says there in the post I put up, we also had a chat about being a business owner, managing your time more effectively, staying focused on goals. That's what you get in terms of the level of support. So what else do you get? Obviously, we just mentioned there the VIP WhatsApp group. You get access to my personal WhatsApp for daily questions. So if you are stuck, in fact, I had a question this morning about somebody who's just about to purchase a auction property. They were asking questions about what would come up on the survey if they managed to negotiate a pre-auction deal, and they could get a survey done. Would it pull up Japanese knotweed? Would that come in? There's a million and one different types of questions. And the point is you get access to my personal WhatsApp for daily questions. So anything crops up, ping away, send me a message, get the answer, move forward. Obviously, you do get the discounted property software as well, and there's numerous different types of property software. And you'll get discounted usage and discounted accounting services as well, which is a really good bonus to have. And I'm going to give you, as if all that wasn't enough and you're thinking, what's the catch? Well, there isn't a catch. There just isn't. You've seen what other people have said. 14-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. So what have you got to lose? You have 4 days on this. And there's the link at the bottom. Make a note of the link, type that in now on another window, open up a browser, have a look at it. And 4 days, that's all I'm going to say. Now, all this means for you is ultimately, why would you do this? So what this is going to mean is no more feeling overwhelmed and unsure on what to do. You get support whenever you need it so you can move forwards. You get a community of like-minded people to leverage and work with, potentially. Zero spending on courses. Zero. Because you've got ours forever. You don't need to buy any more property courses. You've got ours, which are continually updated. You get a lifetime mentor. So you always have the answers you need when you need it. And what more could you need? And talking about the feeling overwhelmed and unsure on what to do, it's super, super common. Super common. And this here is Kushal, another mentee of ours who paid a few £1,000s a few years back now to another trainer, another, I suppose, property guru that you would call them a property guru. They are all over YouTube. They are big in terms of their faces everywhere, absolutely everywhere. But what they are not is good at providing property education. Because when I first spoke to Kushal, he was lost. He was confused. He was annoyed. He was overwhelmed. He'd bought a rent-to-rent course with somebody. He spent quite a few £1,000s and completed the course, tried to implement some of the things on that course, and then just hit brick wall. And reached out to myself. We had a chat on the phone, and I said, look, that's not how we work. We give you the courses, but we also give you the support, and we can work a plan together. We can form a plan together that works for you. And it's that personal touch, I think, and that's why Kushal joined us. and has had success since joining us, which is amazing to see. You can see the happy smiley faces on the picture. The middle picture, actually, some of you may recognise the presenter from Homes Under the Hammer, because Kushal's been on Homes Under the Hammer, I think, once or twice now, on his various projects. And actually, we changed tack, because he'd done a rent-to-rent course somewhere else, but when we actually sat down and had a really good, detailed discussion about what he wanted from property, and what his goals were, what his limitations were, because he had a day job at the time, we worked out that actually rent-to-rent was a nonsense. It was just something that he thought was the answer, and it wasn't the answer for him. So we changed tack and we formed a new plan, which was HMO investing and joint venture investing in the HMO space. And that's exactly what he's gone on to do, and he does very, very well out of it. And yeah, it's just great to be a part of that and see that change from somebody that's had a really poor kind of experience with property education, hit a brick wall, come to us, and then we've helped him smash all those brick walls down. And he's got what he wanted at the end of the day, which is he's now a portfolio landlord and, full-time in property. So have you done a property course? Do you feel super excited with the knowledge, but you're struggling to know what to actually do, and you're stuck and you're left feeling overwhelmed? That is super, super common. That might be you. You might be sitting here watching this thinking, yeah, that's me. I've done that. And now you've hit the brick wall. Well, that's exactly what most of our mentees have done. They've paid for education elsewhere and lost their way. And the only option really is to either drop it all together and carry on with the day job, or go and look at something else, or actually find a way through. And, a lot of people are finding a way through by getting our help and support and our mentorship and guidance on tap with no limits. And that's just a post there that was on Facebook a few years back. And I did a blog about Kushal going full-time in property in less than 8 months with our help. And there's Kushal's response at the bottom. Thanks to Paul, who's always helping me out with my questions, strategy and planning, which helps me move ahead in my property journey with confidence. And that's the point, isn't it? It's always knowing that somebody's got your back so you can move forwards. So these are just some other reviews that we've had on our Facebook page, and you can go and check them out yourself as well. PSM Property Education. The top one there, hands down the best training out there. The calls alone are worth the price alone. Paul is authentic in a world of property training that isn't. He has done it and is without doubt best in class. Another one, I've just had my 60-minute monthly Zoom chat with Paul, which by the way comes as part of the PSM Property Education package, and he's fantastic. The amount of personalised information I got is worth 1,000% more than the price I paid for the courses. I just want to say, Paul, thanks again, and look forward to Zooming again next month. And this is one that I actually really appreciated from David there. Paul offers incredible value in his courses. Not only that, having spoken to him, he holds high ethical values, which is hard to find in the property training space. And it is because there's a lot of idiots out there on YouTube, social media, who talk it up, sell the financial freedom dream, and then empty your pockets because they charge tens of thousands of pounds for property education and courses, and you go nowhere with it. We exist to pick up the pieces. We're here to help people take that next step with support, with guidance, with help, and without actually emptying your bank account as well, I might add. So this is one, this was a post on Facebook. Philip Gallier, had my first call with Paul and it would have been worth the fee alone for this, but I get to book a call and get guidance ongoing. Who else out there provides this kind of support for this fee? Absolutely the best decision you will make if you're thinking about doing this. And then Yoko underneath there is another mentee of mine. Thanks to your course and mentorship, I got my first Rent to SA deal sourcing fee, arrived today in my bank account. I'm truly happy I found you when I was looking for a mentor for deal sourcing. I've got another one over here. Nikki, it was a messenger chat between the two of us. I'm the one in the blue. And I said, have you got another deal sold? And Nikki said, yes, all signed off this evening. 3K, 1K up front, and a very happy vendor. And I said, wow, so 6K this week, amazing stuff. And he put 5K this week. The other was a 2K deal, as I didn't know how to price it. And I put, all right, okay, well, it's 5K more than last week, amazing. And he put, exactly, I'm over the moon, and it's all down to you. So you can see the power of this, having the support and having somebody to have your back. So why do we only give you 4 days to join? You know, it's not a sales tactic. I can assure you of that, because we like to do things ethically. You know, I don't sugarcoat anything at all. People that listen to my podcast know that, you know, what my opinions are on property and the property education sector in particular. This is not a sales ploy. You get 4 days to join, because the simple answer is the mentoring and the support is one-to-one. I don't do group coaching. You will never find yourself in a group setting. I can only work with so many people. Because I'm working with people one-to-one, I can only work with so many. So that's why we only give you a 4-day window to join. And when that 4-day window to join finishes, then that's it. You know, the offer is gone and you can't join. Or if you do want to join, you have to pay a lot more for it. So we like to get, you know, people in, but there is a limit to that, because there is a limit to how many people I can mentor. So the discount, like I said, is 20% discount right now, and the payment plan also, to spread the cost over 12 months, expires in 4 days' time. So in 5 days' time, the price will be $4,500 if you wish to join after the deadline. That's if I actually have places left, because at the minute, if you went and viewed our website, psmpropertyblog.com, and you went and took a look, what you'll find is we have a waiting list. We're actually not taking on mentors. We're not taking on mentors. We're definitely not. We're not taking on new members, because, you know, there's a limit, and we're launching this special offer to so many people, and there's only so many places. So that's the end. If you're still here, thanks so much for listening in. Hope you enjoyed the training earlier, and I hope that I opened your eyes to a few things as well. And if you sign up, I can't wait to speak to you and help you in your business. And if not, I hope you enjoyed the training, and there'll be more free training coming along soon, I'm sure. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Any questions at all, you can reach out to me. Just go and visit the website, psmpropertyblog.com, to find our contact details. Remember, there's the link on the screen. You have a limited window to join. Any questions at all, you know where I am. Okay, cheers, take care, have a great day.